What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to another episode of Living Life Intently. I'm one of the hosts, Lee Frazier, and I'm here with Mr. Jonathan Canary.
Right on. Right here.
Yeah. I hope you guys liked last week's episode. We got a lot of shout-outs. People are happy that this podcast is back, and it's still kind of crazy that people actually listen to this thing, but, you know, it's fun. Enjoy doing them. And this week is yet another older podcast we recorded a few months ago, back at the end of the summer. This is with Kalen and Alanna Devereaux, who packed up, moved to Cape Breton for the summer. Moved out of their house, moved into a van, lived literally in a van in the back end of the campground. So if you were here and saw a red Sprinter van with a canoe strapped to the top, that was them. And we sat down.
Don't give too much of it away. Don't give too much of it away.
Okay. I will get into it. Okay. But what do we got coming on this week, though? We're updating the podcast.
We have a new segment.
And what is this segment?
Misadventures and adventure stories. And we're going to kick it off with Alicia Wilkie.
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome. Yeah. So we had asked everybody to submit for these. If you want to submit after listening to these, we'll tell you how to do it afterwards. But yeah, this is Alicia Wilkie.
My name's Alicia Wilkie. I'm from Sydney. And this past summer, I decided that for my birthday, I wanted to go to Pollett's Cove for 2 nights and then do a night at Money Point. It was my first vacation in years, and it was for my 30th birthday. So on the way up, we stopped for sandwiches, and I came back out to the car, and I said, I'm going to get sick. There was a guy in there, and he sounded like he was going to drop dead right there. He was coughing up a lung and just sounded terrible. And so we kept going anyway, and we hiked in, and it was great. We had a great 2 days there. But on the morning that we were supposed to hike out and then head to Money Point, I didn't sleep a wink the night before. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't sit still. I cried a few times because of how much pain I was in. My body was sore, and it hurt to cough and breathe and talk and do anything. And so we hiked out anyway. My husband took a fair bit of extra weight in his bag, whatever he could fit. And about 20 meters past Otterbrook, we heard a coyote plain as day. And so the rest of the trip, we double timed it as much as I could. And I was coughing and wheezing. And it took us probably twice as long to get out as it did to get in. And then I spent the rest of my vacation sleeping on the couch. And that's my adventure story. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, wow, Alicia. I cannot imagine hiking out of Pollett's Cove with a fever.
Oh, my God. I would be dead. I'm a sucker when I get like sick. And last time I had COVID, I was on the couch I didn't move. I ate ice cream, weed gummies, and drank noon tablets for about 5 days straight. And I couldn't imagine coming out of Pollett's Cove with summer temperatures, 30 degrees, sweating, already with fever. Oh, man. Yeah.
And that coyote, you heard that coyote, and that coyote could smell that COVID and was like, nope, not going near that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was awesome. Thanks for submitting that. And if you guys, what's that? What do you want to get into?
Do we have another one we can listen to?
Yeah. I got another one we can listen to. Just let me have a look.
Yeah, let's fire it up.
Okay. This one is from Mark Mitchell, who goes by @hikingthrough on Instagram. He's got a YouTube channel where he posts up a bunch of great videos about a lot of his through hikes that he does. We met at, where did we meet? Oh, the Seawall Trail Film Fest back in October. We've just kind of going back and forth on Instagram since. But if you want to check out Mark's stuff after this, it's @hikingthrough. But yeah, we're just going to jump into this episode. There's no title on this one, but we're just going to jump into it.
Good day, Lee, and everyone out there listening to the Live Life Intently podcast. I have a story for you. So this story takes place about mid-September. Me and my buddy planned a big hike out in the Canadian Rockies. So first off, just a little background about me. I have a YouTube channel with the handle Hiking Through. Make some good videos on there. Check it out. My buddy and I, this whole year, we've planned this great big hike through the Canadian Rockies. It's called the Devereaux Loop, about 84 kilometers. My buddy Zach, he's he's a funny guy. He's got some dry humor, dad jokes kind of vibe, and it's a little cringy, but it always gets a good laugh out of me. I fucking love it. So we were out there hiking this fine hike, and there was the Jasper fire going on. And so we virtually had the whole trail to ourselves. So that was great. We were hoping to see some grizzlies, obviously from a distance, but had the good trade-off of running into a massive juiced-up moose out there, which was pretty cool to see. So the funny bit about my story here, I got home to edit this video, and I was excited about it. There's some great views out there. And while I was editing this, I stumbled across a couple videos where I noticed in the background my buddy was dancing. I was like, what's going on here? Like, I kept going through it, and I kept finding these videos, and lo and behold, every fucking video, the whole time, he decided, when I turned around to go retrieve my camera gear, he danced in his dad fashion style. Every single video, I think, like, I didn't count them, but there must have been fucking 200 or so videos of him dancing. It was ridiculous. But I mean, I got a good laugh out of it. The further I went into it, I couldn't really believe it. But this guy, he's just hilarious. So yeah, on Instagram, my handle is _hikingthrough. I just posted a reel about a few of the clips of him dancing. So check that out too. It's pretty humorous. But yeah, everybody needs a friend like that, because when you go hiking, it can be long, strenuous, type 2 kind of fun. But you get a guy like this, and it just really brings it all together, makes you laugh, makes you enjoy yourself out there. So yeah, I hope you enjoy my little humorous story, and I'll try to get another one out to you guys. So happy hiking, and hope to see you on the trails.
Well, thanks so much for sending that in, Mark. Did you happen to see the video that he's talking about, Lee?
Yeah. You posted it, I think, last week. For those listening, if you want to go check it out, check out his Instagram. I think it's a reel there, and it's over on, I believe I saw it uploaded to YouTube as well. Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah. I mean, he should just do like one master edit with like everything, and then just play some, like, Mark, if you're listening to this, put like some dance track behind it or disco, and then just start playing it, and then maybe edit the moves to the music, do like quick chops back and forth, that sort of stuff.
That would be good.
I mean, it'd be hilarious. Or just like an endless loop, like one of those endless loops for like 24 hours of a guy dancing in the woods.
So we want to hear more of these stories.
Tons more. We want to feature at least one, if not two or more, every week. We want to hear from each one of you guys. And if you have any interest in submitting them, or any story, it could be something funny, scary, it doesn't really matter. Anything adventure related, outdoor related, pop open your phone. All you need to do is record a voice memo and send it via DMs on Instagram, Facebook, email it to info@livelifeintense. And hopefully in the next couple weeks, we'll have the podcast social or Instagram account rolling. And then you can send stuff there. And we'll be posting up about this on all the social channels over the coming weeks while we do this podcast as well. But yeah, before we jump into this podcast, next week, we're going to have Noah Booth from Northern Scavenger on. That's going to be next week's podcast. And then Alex McLean after that. Yeah, pretty excited about recording those. It's been a long time coming to record Noah. It's been like back and forth for like a year. But yeah, that it? You got anything, Johnny?
No.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Okay. This is Kalen, Alanna, Devereaux on the deck of Live Life Intense.
So, who are we sitting here with?
It's Kalen Devereaux.
And Alanna Devereaux.
And
Are you guys related?
Yes. Yes, we are.
We're actually married. Yeah. Pretty exciting.
you had a great summer?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome summer. Loved it here.
I was going to say we had the best summer ever, probably, of our lives.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
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 That's cool.
This, we're going to leave here and it's like been a dream this whole time.
You're wondering, like, why haven't we had life like this all along?
Yeah, and I had no idea this place existed.
Cool.
So,
As in what? Cape Breton or Live Life Intense or Marguerite?
I think a combination of all of that. Like, I was like, I did not know a magical place like Cape Breton, Marguerite, Live Life Intense was all wrapped up in a beautiful package.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Give you all a little context. We're sitting on the deck of the shop, and it's like, I don't know, my watch is dead. What time is it? 8?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, sun's starting to go down, and this is the first time we actually recorded a episode on this deck. And I just saw somebody come up the driveway, and I was almost ready to go like, oh, I got to do a check-in right now. Please read your email. Please read your email. Please. And they creeped to a stop and then looked over and saw 4 people with headphones and beer and Wood Canaries drinking bubbly, but, beverages, and just kept going. It's great.
Great.
Yeah.
Where are you guys from?
Seaforth, Ontario. Yeah. Well, I'm from Seaforth. Alanna's from Blythe, and but we have a house in Seaforth.
Cool. And how did you land here?
So, basically, someone I was following on Instagram shared something of Lee's of Live Life Intense on Instagram, and then I started following Lee and saw what he was doing. Thought it was really cool, and then he posted a thing saying that he was hiring for the summer, and then we had been working up to do some like work travel. We renovated our house to kind of turn into a duplex, so we were renting out half of it, and and we bought a van and did the whole van conversion.
Sick.
So we hadn't even got the van yet when we spoke to Lee over the
we just kind of like
Zoom call.
We just kind of like you presented this idea to me. You're like, Alanna, let's go work at this place called Live Life Intense, and I've never heard of it before, and I've never really even thought about coming to Nova Scotia or Cape Breton or any of it. And I was like, okay, cool, sounds good. I was kind of more of like the follower. I was like, Kalen, you make the decision, I'll follow you. So then he got us to apply for this job. And then, Lee, you reached out to us, and you're like, let's have an interview. And I was like, okay, right on. So we had an interview, and it was more like a chat.
Yeah, so my interview skills are not great.
But it was a fun chat. Like, we were, like, cooking dinner, and you were just, like, sitting. Yeah, and you were about to go. I think you were about to go on your winter trip at that time.
Oh, so that would have been, mid-February, probably the original conversation. Yeah, so, I mean, as anybody that I've ever done an interview with will speak on, it's more or less like, I don't know, I just have a conversation with people, and then I just see where that goes, and then I see whether or not that's going to vibe at all, and that's kind of like the indicator, the main indicator. I mean, there's all the other questions or whatever, but that's kind of like the biggest thing. So I just kind of like chat. There has been people that I've talked to, I'm like, I don't know if that's a really good fit. But yeah, luckily it's always worked out so far. So, I mean, I'm just going with my gut, really. I mean, that's a big part in like any interview that I've ever done growing up. It's not so much about your resume. Resume doesn't really mean a hell of a lot in a lot of the job applications and job interviews that I've ever been in. It's more or less about like the conversation with the person that's going to be hiring you, and then like you get a vibe, and then you get a call, and you're like, okay, you want to come on this job? I'm like, okay, cool, yep. Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's how I do it. I don't know. I do it a little different. I always feel awkward, too. When you're doing interviews, it's like structured questions, and then people throw curveballs at you, and you do all this. I'm like,
yeah.
Just fucking talk to the person.
I think that's the way to go. Like, that makes the most sense. Like, get to know the person. Whereas, like, anybody can really, like, say anything for answering a question. But we had a good conversation. We were chatting about outdoor stuff, and, yeah, I thought it was interesting and fun. And then at the end of the interview, you were like, you kind of were like, yeah, maybe I'll get back to you at the end of my trip. And then at the end of the interview, you're like, you know what? Screw it. You guys are hired.
Sick.
And we were like, okay. So then we were like, we hung up and we like both looked at each other and we're like, we're going to Cape Breton to work at Live Life Intense.
Yeah, we just accepted it, and we hadn't really talked about it at all. Like, if we'd actually go, like, it was all just kind of, we applied and had the interview, and then like, yeah, you just threw it out there at the end, like, yeah, you guys want to come out? And then we're like, yeah, sure. And I think we had like a family get together like later that day or the next day. And we just told our family like, yeah, so I guess we're going to Cape Breton for the summer.
Everyone was like really shocked. They're like, what? We're like, yep, applied for this job, got it, we're going. So that was kind of like, it was like sprung on us too, but it was like a good thing. Yeah, like it was kind of like it forced me into doing it because like I'm kind of like more of a homebody and I like to stick to what's safe. And this like really brought me out of my comfort zone. So it was good. So we had like 3 months to buy a van and convert it. And that was all Kalen.
And it worked.
It happened. It worked.
Yeah.
We're here.
Dope.
It's the end of the summer.
So, speaking about getting out of your comfort zone, have you traveled a lot?
No, I had probably traveled a little more than Alanna.
Yeah. Like we're from a small town, rural area, and like kind of like don't get off the farm much kind of people, and like I just like I haven't really gone anywhere really in Canada, like other than exploring Ontario, Northern Ontario.
So this was a big step.
This is a huge step, and like to travel in a vehicle and to have that as your home was like huge because that's all there is.
And it's you two and your puppy, Skipper.
Yeah, so that happened last minute. We hummed and hawed over it forever. We made arrangements. We're like, Skipper's not coming. Like, it'll be too much. I don't want to put that on Lee and people at Live Life Intense. And then, like, the week before we were going to leave, Kalen, I think you emailed Lee. You're like, can we bring our dog?
I got the courage up to email Lee. And then
with the classic... It's a good boy.
Yeah.
Great boy.
Yeah.
It doesn't cause any.
He actually is the best dog, though.
Well, after I read the emails, like, Kalen, you lied about everything about our dog to get him here.
Hey, well, it worked. So, I mean, we're here now. He's sitting there on the porch.
Yeah.
Being a good boy.
Yeah.
Being a good boy. Yeah. He has actually become like an unofficial mascot around here, and like he is famous in Inverness.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the funny story about that is so we're in Inverness one day and we're not in the vehicle, but we must have been in the grocery store or something. So the dog's sitting in the driver's seat or something. And somebody else that works at Live Life Intense said that they saw that the friend of theirs posted on their Instagram story a picture of Skipper.
Yeah.
And we're like, we had no idea who they were. And like, we're just like, all right, he's a local celebrity now.
And his free hot dogs.
Yes. So, we went to Little Red Wagon in Inverness. And
shout out to the Little Red Wagon.
Shout out to that.
That's where I actually thought I lost my wallet. Whoa, I found my wallet, by the way.
Nice.
Finally.
That's exciting.
Where'd you find it?
It's been a while.
In the field?
Oh, no. So for people listening, I have been missing my wallet since probably mid-July. It is September 2nd right now.
It's been actually kind of a running joke.
But nobody was charging anything to us. I'm like, there's no reason why I got to cancel any cards. So I don't know, whatever. But anyway, I got everything back. Didn't have to go through that all crazy. Anyways, but found my wallet, Inverness, Red Wagon.
Awesome.
That's that connection.
Yeah.
So tell us what you got up to this summer.
Oh, where do we even start, Kalen?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it all started where we met Jonathan Canary.
That first hike was awesome. Well, our first hike, just Alanna and I, was, I think, was it like Corny Brook?
Sorry, I got to deal with this check-in because these people here.
Yeah, go do the
No
thing.
worries.
How authentic is this?
Yeah, just right on the spot. We're checking
full-
people in, the full experience.
full
Live
feel
Life
of
Intense.
Live Life Intense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, we did a hike, just Alanna and Corny Brook, in the park in Cape Breton Highlands Park, and it was just super chill, like 3K.
It was like
to
6
the waterfall.
Oh, I thought it was 6 kilometers.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, it's like
It's 6 kilometers,
yeah.
and it's like a well
groomed
path, trail, and you get to the end. It's a cute waterfall. We're going at the beginning of June, so nobody's really there yet, which is awesome because you kind of have it to yourself and it's not overcrowded. So we're like, this is so beautiful, and we get into the highlands. And we're like, this is amazing. The hills and the mountains and everything's just breathtaking and beautiful. So that was probably one of our first hikes that we did together alone. And then Jonathan Canary, you came into the picture and
picked us up. Yeah. And took us way, was that like a 2-hour drive up into the middle of the Highlands?
Yeah, LeBlanc Brook Falls is about 2 hours.
So we get in the car with you, Canary, and we're like, we just met this guy, and he's taking us in the middle of nowhere, and there's like no service for 2 hours.
And who came?
Allie came, Sarah came,
Gord,
Jamie.
Yeah, met some awesome people on that first hike.
Yeah. So
Shout out to trail manager Gord.
Yeah, and Jamie
and Jamie Vasello. Picture me hiking.
Yeah, awesome people.
Yeah. So we don't really know what we're in for. We'd never really bushwhacked before. Like, we've never done that before in our life. So we're like, okay, we'll go. We'll figure it out. These guys are guiding us, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
you think?
You think, and that's all we can hope for, because we're so far into the Highlands, the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So we go out into the bushwhack for how long? About an hour. Yeah. And there's a big group of us, which is super fun. We're following the river in. It's so beautiful. It's so remote.
What did you think of the falls?
The falls was breathtaking. So you have to hike up a mountain or a hill, and then you go down, and you're going down pretty steep.
Yeah.
So once you get down, and you can already hear the falls, but once you get down, like, it's just these falls like take your breath away.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and like the mist is like hitting you in the face.
I mean, yeah, like we were 150 feet away from it, and the mist was still hitting us.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my favorite or most beautiful places around here, and I would think that it's notably one of the most remote land features that I would recommend anybody going to see. I can't remember what page it is, but it's in Benoit Lalonde's new book. So for
waterfalls at Cape Breton.
Yeah, for our listeners, that's where you can find LeBlanc Brook Falls. But what else did you get up to?
Yeah, so after that hike, we were like, wow, the standard is so high. And you had said, like, how many people had visited those falls in the last, like, not very many.
Maybe a dozen.
Yeah. So, like, that was, like, super special and rare. I felt like, we're really getting the Cape Breton experience, like, even, like, above and beyond. So then after that, what did we do? We go on a camping trip? What did we do next?
I think we probably did Fishing Cove.
Oh,
just
we did
ourselves,
that. Yeah. And
which was beautiful. That was I think that was our first overnight hike, just the two of us. Mm-hmm. We had done like lots of canoe camping overnight in Northern Ontario, but
we're gonna touch on the canoeing in a bit.
Yeah, love canoeing.
Yeah.
Big canoe guy over here.
Yeah.
Big canoe guy.
We brought our canoe all the way out here.
Yeah, I hauled it all the way out here. But
Fishing Cove was awesome. It was beautiful. That was the first time we really actually heard seals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and saw them.
We thought it was a dog.
Yeah, they bark.
Yeah. So we saw its head popping up too in the cove, and we're like, that's a seal. Like, no way.
Yeah.
Because we're like Ontario, Lake Huron, no seals are there. And we come back to Live Life Intense, and I was telling Lee, I'm like, we saw a seal, and Lee's like, yeah. I thought it was so cool.
The plague of our coastline.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool, Fishing Cove. I'm really glad we did, in hindsight, I'm really glad we did that first.
Yeah.
Because, the camping we did after that was unreal.
Yeah, then Jamie Vasello and trail manager Gord, took us to Money Point.
Oh, yeah.
Which that was...
Were the horses out?
No.
Not at that time.
Yeah.
Didn't actually see them. But, just a beautiful hike. Kind of, Jamie took his truck way up into the mountains there, and then we hiked down.
Mm-hmm.
How long would you say we hiked down for? 2 kilometers? Just straight downhill?
Yeah.
The whole time you're thinking, I got to hike back up that while you're hiking down.
Yeah.
But
Lee and I often reflect on that. When you're hiking down such a steep ravine, it's almost easier coming back up because you get to use all 4 limbs.
Mm-hmm.
like you get to climb almost too using tree branches and things like that. So it's not as hard on the hips, knees, legs as coming down, right?
Yeah, we've actually learned that on this vacation.
Yeah,
on this workcation.
I'd much rather go uphill than downhill.
Yeah,
I feel I feel the legs on the downhill a lot more.
Yeah. So you liked Money Point.
Money Point was amazing because you could see the sunrise and sunset in the same
over the same
water.
body of water.
Yeah.
Which we had never seen that before. That was cool. That was so cool.
And it was so beautiful just like walking along the coast, and there's the old lighthouse and the ruins, and I'm really interested in the history of that.
So there was a wooden lighthouse there. Lighthouse. My friend Mac, Peter, and I'm trying to remember who the other guy was. They were burning it down, essentially. They were hiking Money Point. This, you're talking, I don't know, probably better part of 10 years ago, if not 10 years ago. And they were hiking in as the people were burning the wooden lighthouse down. Literally set it aflame. And this whole, because when you first walk in the cove, you come down the dirt road, and then you get into the cove, and then there's kind of like the first remnants of it is where they were burning it down.
That would have been a sight to see.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
do we know the history of like why it's called Money Point?
Yeah. So, I think I've heard a few different histories of it. Part of it is that it was a popular spot for pirates to ride ashore. There's also a story I've heard about a shipwreck offshore, which was full of gold coins, that sort of thing, right? There's a lot of really great shipwreck stories from up that area. We were talking about Fishing Cove earlier, and I've been doing a research project for another podcast, and so there was a shipwreck at Fishing Cove, and there was a lone survivor of that shipwreck. It happened in the winter, and that lone survivor swam to shore and walked from Fishing Cove to Shetty Camp, soaking wet in the winter. And it's just like, I mean, we have hiked that distance in the winter with all of the best gear, state-of-the-art winter gear.
Not soaking wet.
Not soaking wet. And we nearly, nearly killed us. So I couldn't. But, there's all kinds of, like, pirate stories from up there. And
I thought that was really cool. And, like, after doing Fishing Cove, we're like, Money Point was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Funny story about the shipwrecks on that that island there on the like kind of the Cabot Strait between Cape Breton and Newfoundland.
Yeah.
We took a trip down to Halifax and went to the Navy museum there with the Corvette that's floating in the harbor.
Yeah.
And my mom's grandpa Nicholson, Alan Nicholson, he served in the Navy in World War II. And the story goes that him and his buddy were out drinking late one night in Halifax and missed their ship the next morning. And that ship, that Corvette, the SS Schwinnigan that they were supposed to be on, was sank by a German sub in the Cabot Strait.
Whoa.
So where we were on Money Point, looking out there on the north.
Yeah, that really hits home, man.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I was like, I was up there looking at that water.
Yeah, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah. And so, it's crazy to think about.
Nuts.
That is wild.
Yeah, there's, like talking about the other project I'm working on, I've discovered that there's so many cool stories that people don't really hear all the time, like stories like that,
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's a lot of history here that, it's oral history. It's not written down. It's not in a book anywhere.
A lot older. Well, I just found where we are in Ontario, you don't hear, well, it kind of makes sense. Like, just around here, there's a lot older history, like deep, like Turin, Halifax, and even out here on Cape Breton Island. Like, people have been around here for a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so where else did you go?
So then the next like camping overnight trip we did was Paulet's Cove, and we did that with Allie. And that was an interesting one because people were like preparing us for that because
The
of the
horses.
horses.
Yeah.
Right? So there's like 6 horses there and they will eat your stuff. So we were like, we are not letting the horses near us. But that was by far like Pollett's Cove was my favorite hike in.
You said Skipper thought that they were big horses.
Yeah, Skipper thought they were like other dogs or
Yeah.
something. And he
was
tried
trying
to play with
He was
them.
trying to play with them.
They
Yeah.
just weren't having
No,
it.
they weren't having any of it.
It was your favorite hike in?
It was one of my favorite hikes in because I just thought it was really beautiful and the trail was a little bit more narrow, so it was like more authentic. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's a trail, it feels more backcountry.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm like have grown more appreciation for out here
Yeah.
is like more of the backcountry stuff,
Right.
Instead of like a groomed trail.
And that's a big part of why we advocate for backcountry hikes, and why we advocate for hiring a guide or going on a group hike backcountry with a guide, things like that, is because it's not just getting to see something that's so remote or inaccessible to people. It's not just that. It's more about the experience of actually the adventure, getting there.
Yeah.
Right? And the things like, there's so much in the forest off trail that you would never see if you didn't leave the trail, like a full moose carcass we came across or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's so much. So, and it's also interesting.
Yeah. So Pollett's Cove was beautiful and amazing, and we found a spot where we could like kind of shelter ourselves from the horses.
Yeah.
So I think the key is to kind of stay off the beach.
Yeah.
Because they like to kind of target that area. And like other people were like petting the horses and stuff. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want them wrecking my gear. I don't want them near us.
Yeah, well, on the way in, we met a couple who had said that someone had their tent chewed apart by the horses just the night before we got in there. So we were we fortified the trees pretty good. Alanna and
We had a
Allie and
fortress.
we were back in the somewhat people keep adding to the fortress back in the trees there at Pollett's, and it's a good spot if you ever go.
Cool.
Go down into the Pullets, turn right, go back into the trees.
And Jamie recommended that we go to Gilliander Mountain Falls, and so we did that together too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was
did
a really
hike
cool one.
with a couple people, and that was like a shorter hike than LeBlanc Brook Falls.
Yeah.
But it was still like really beautiful, and the water was super, super cold.
You remember how challenging the terrain was going in?
Yeah, and we brought Skipper on that one.
Yeah,
So
he
he
got to
loved it.
swim around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Yeah, that was a great hike too.
So
Ice cold water in the falls.
Oh my God.
The swimming there, that was
right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah, that was like Wim Hof cold.
Yeah, you had to breathe through it.
Yeah. So tell us about your experience working here for the summer.
I think I had no idea what to expect, really. I think when we first got here, there wasn't like really, they weren't in full season yet. We got here at the beginning of June. So then Lee found out that Kalen knew how to build stuff. So we ended up building, I was Kalen's helper, but we ended up building change rooms for the tubers.
Yeah,
So-
no more changing in the barn or out in the field.
We
Yeah.
got a change room out back. So for the first little while, we were kind of doing odd jobs. We actually were laying sod in Lee's backyard and front
Yep.
yard. So that was kind of fun too.
Yep.
Something different. And then when things started going up again, we started meeting more people that were working here, and everyone was so nice and friendly. And I felt like we had just like, as a staff, like really clicked naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just good vibes.
And so what was your jobs here once the kind of summer got rolling?
Yeah. So like I was kind of more of like, I did like more of the administration, like front desk work, and I also did housekeeping. So I was kind of more like, and we only worked part-time too. So
Yeah.
we kind of helped relieve workers and let them like have days off, which was really nice. And it was helpful when if I got to learn multiple jobs, then I could relieve more workers.
Yep.
So I was cleaning up the glamping tents, cleaning up the campground a little bit,
Cool.
checking guests in, greeting customers.
And what
Stuff
about you,
like that.
Kalen?
So I was on the tubing crew.
Yeah.
Isaac, Ethan, and Billy.
Big tube guy.
Yeah.
I'm back.
You're back. You're back.
Isaac, we always make fun of we not make fun of. We try to say it the way you guys say it. Tubing, tubing today.
You're on tubing.
Yeah. So yeah, it was fun. I was at the top of the river. Make sure get people in their tubes. All right.
Cool.
So when
Get them down
Kalen did the
river.
tubing days, he got to bring Skipper with him too.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Skipper could just hang out in the water all day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hung
me
out
and
by the
Skippy
river.
hanging out by the river.
Sick.
It was pretty.
And you caddy as well for Cabot?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, I also. Yeah, I'm a big.
Big double bag guy.
love the double bags. Yeah, the double doubles we call it, when you double bag for 36 holes in a day. It's a workout.
You
but
must
it's
have at least one story from the summer.
caddying.
Yeah, come on. There's gonna be like at least one, like some guy that was like too drunk and fell over, and you had a putt for him or something.
Or you got like Adam Sandler on your crew?
One guy did on like the 16th. It's like the famous like hole. They all like on the cliffs you see in the photographs. One guy had a few too many beers, and I tried to beg him not to go down and hit his ball, like laying on the side of the cliff, but he insisted. But he scrambled down there, hit his ball, didn't get it out, but scrambled back up. But it was
He didn't fall down the cliff.
yeah, it was sketchy.
Yeah, I skipped that when I golfed that. I golfed it once with a friend of mine who was down, and I just skipped it. I was like, "There's no way." I already lost like 20 balls, so I'm just going to skip this hole. Because
Yeah,
for those of
it's
you
hard.
that don't know, it's like that's the one that's over. It's like your tee, and then you're over kind of like a cliff, a cape, right? So it's just like out on its own.
Yeah,
Huh.
and it's like the photos online show it. It looks like there's a lot more space on the green. It looks like big open green, but when you get there, it's just a small little green out on a little
Peninsula,
cape.
yeah.
Yeah, with big cliffs all around you. It's pretty cool. It's the 16th hole. The finishing stretch at Cliffs is it's really cool golf.
It's so beautiful there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I
a
worked
beautiful-
on a crew where we shot that for them and for tourism.
Oh, nice.
And it was like one of the most beautiful places I've seen, like majestic and picturesque spots.
It's pretty wild when the sun's going down there. It's
So ultimately, you had a good summer.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I feel like we didn't like. There's just so many amazing things that we did, and like hiking mountains and meeting wonderful people, and like the music scene. Like that was insane.
Yeah,
we
the
didn't expect that
music.
at all.
Yeah.
How about that?
We had Garrett Mason here.
Yep.
And
Lookout Tower and Big Country Ramblers.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely a new fan of a lot of these bands I've never heard before. So
Yeah, we did not. We had no clue. Well, we had heard. I think before we came out, we had heard Lee he was a DJ, but other than that, we didn't. When we came out here, I think the
We
first
had a couple of dance
weekend.
parties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the first weekend, like Allie and Lee invited us. Like, you want to go to a concert down the road? We're like, sure. So we go down Cody Road to Peters there.
I picked you up.
yeah, you did.
Yeah. And
I think we just met you that day.
Yeah.
yeah, we were just blown away. We're like, where are we? Like, what is this? It was like
It was on someone's farm.
on like a barn front porch with
Yeah.
like llamas and sheep in the background, and the moon was just like setting behind a big like maple tree. And
You remember how loud the peepers were,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
I was actually looking at videos from that night, not like just today, and I could hear those peepers in the background
Cool.
just chirping.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah. So like the concert was amazing, and then we were about to go home, and then you're like, "There's gonna be more." We're like, "What?" And then it was like open mic, and then we're like, "Okay, well, like who's gonna go up and sing open mic? Like there can't be that many people that know what they're doing." But then little did we know, like people, like
every
person after
every
person.
other person's a musician on Cape Breton Island. we found that out pretty quickly.
And all pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like amazing. Like, and we had no idea, and just so good.
The guy, I don't know, you guys don't know his name, who got up and sang Gaelic.
Oh, Bradley Murphy,
That was so
cool.
cool.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we love that. I never heard anything like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
And Canary, you sung too. That was pretty cool.
That was the first show I played in years in front of played in front of people.
And I thought it was really cool. Like, there was just a concert here the other night, actually, and you played again. And I was like, what a perfect way to just end the summer.
Aww.
Yeah.
So, so we had a good summer. You had a good experience here. Would you recommend this to other people? Would you recommend packing up your life and moving to Cape Breton for the summer?
Absolutely not.
Maybe the locals will tell you not to, but I would recommend coming here 2,000%. Like, This is seriously a magical place. You won't regret it. There's so many great things to see. We want to even come back. Our list isn't even done. Like, we want to do so much more.
Yeah, your list will grow ad infinitum.
Yeah. And, like, the people that you meet, you just meet people after, people. Like,
Yeah,
they're just
everyone's super friendly.
so friendly, and they want to take you places, and they want to help you, and they want to show you things. And
This is a good hub for meeting people.
yeah,
this place.
Live Life Intense definitely
Yeah.
helped that. Like, we are so thankful to work here too. Like, Lee, you're a wealth of knowledge on everything there is, hiking and whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's so many people to meet here too. Like,
Yeah, come stay at Live Life Intense, and they'll give you good recommendations on hiking and any sort of adventure you want to do.
Come down in the morning and drink coffee. I'm surprised not. Previous years, it was like chaos down here at like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
This year has been a little, hit or miss, but normally it was like people down here and like, because last summer Alec was working here, and Alec and I would be down here, and we had like a big list of hiking trails, and we're telling people what to do and where to go. And this year wasn't so much of that.
No.
There's a different clientele base too. This year was more Ontario Americans, and just in and out, and that's it, passing through. But
Big canoe guy.
Yeah,
You got a canoe adventure coming up.
I do. Yeah, I'm I got this big canoe trip planned, like along with my. I have a golf company called Elephant Golf.
Yeah.
And I want to golf and canoe the Trent Severn Waterway.
Where's that at?
So it goes from Port Severn on, I think it's still technically Lake Huron or Georgian Bay, up to down to Trenton, Ontario, on Lake Ontario. So you kind of cut like right across like kind of the middle of southwestern Ontario.
Yep.
And it's, I figure it'll take me about 2 weeks and about like 20 kilometers of paddling a day. And then I want to try and golf almost every day.
Is there golf courses along the way?
Yeah, there's lots.
Really?
So, yeah. So I just started looking at Google Maps, and then I'm like, oh, there's a golf course there. Oh, there's one right there. Like all right on the water, because it's an old canal system.
Yep.
So it was started like they started construction over like 200 years ago.
Yep.
But by the time it was finished, the canal system, like the railroad over, like it was obsolete. The canal system, like the railroads were built.
Yep.
And so they didn't actually need it. So now it's just like a recreational waterway, and it just like there's canals connecting a series of like inland lakes and river systems the whole way through.
Cool.
So it's all like recreational waterways now. But I'm kind of trying to combine like two things I love, like canoeing and golfing.
So is it just you going on this trip? Are you guiding people on this trip? You have people signed up for this?
Well, that's the thing. So far, I sent out a text to a few family and friends. So far, I got a maybe from my brother, and I got a commitment to a weekend from my best bud Paul.
Cool.
So I'm trying to get a bunch of different people to come and kind of fill in and just paddle with me for a day or two, whatever you can do. Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
And then I'm supposed to be your support crew.
Yeah, Alanna's probably gonna get sucked into more days of canoeing and golfing than she wants to. But.
So are you in the boat as well, Alanna? Or are you meeting him and dropping off his clubs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling I'll be the one that's going to be like meeting him and dropping him off most of the time.
Well, I'll take clubs and tent and everything with me
in the boat.
In the boat, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I got a nice big Nova craft to
hold all your gear.
It should hold it all, and like the locks, each I didn't even talk about the locks. So there's like 43 locks because it drops like, I forget the elevation. Like there's quite a bit of elevation change.
Yep.
And so camping at the locks, they're all run by like Parks Canada. They're all national. Each lock is a little national park.
Yep.
And so you can camp along the locks.
And will you have to portage them?
Yeah. So basically every lock, we're going to go through some of them. Like there's some super cool ones. There's one that's like a railway lock. So they actually like, the boats like kind of go in and then you are actually like there's like a cradle for the boats and then it actually like just like brings you up or down like a railway cart. Like it slides on rails
cool.
like up and over like land and then back into the water.
Oh, that's nuts.
So we're like definitely going to do that one. And then like the Peterborough one, there's a couple cool ones that are like really old and big.
Yeah. And that like that kind of, those little special things too, like kind of make it interesting.
Yeah. It's like what we were talking about earlier with the history of things. Like it'll be cool to, yeah.
Speaking of history, have you been canoeing very long?
Not well. I got into it. My older brother Kyle got me into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He took us on a canoe trip to Massasauga Provincial Park when we were
probably 19, 20. That was probably 9 years.
I think we were just done school because we were kind of kicking ourselves. We went to school in Barrie and Orillia.
Which is like beautiful Northern Ontario, but
close
like
to Algonquin Park.
We probably didn't spend any time in the outdoors.
No, we were just doing what young.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
But like we're mad at ourselves now. We're like we're in this beautiful spot for
we're like
4 or 5
we're like
years.
an hour away from Algonquin Park, which is like the mecca for Ontario canoeing.
Yep.
But yeah, Kyle took us on this I think it was like a 3-night canoe trip when we were just out of school.
And
Kyle,
I've never done backcountry before in my life before that.
Yeah, me either. Kyle and his wife Annie, and Connor and I can't remember who. But yeah, 6 of us went on this canoe trip, and it was just like super memorable and just like
it was fun. It was just like all good times and like paddling, and then like you take all your gear out of the canoe and you portage, and then you set up camp, and then you make food and
fell in love
go
with
swimming. And your brother Kyle just like made it super memorable. So.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first night we like got to camp, like big paddle, got to camp, and then we're like cooking pizzas over the open fire. And Kyle just like broke into this like wild dance where he's just like stomping his feet and like kind of like grunting. And I remember being like, what is wrong with my brother? Like what? Like, he's like, I know he's a bit out there, but I remember just like thinking like, my brother's super weird.
But
like,
to paint a picture, paint a picture of what your brother looks like. He's like
he's
big
got
bushy beard,
long hair, big bushy beard, and like he's just like shirt off doing this like dance. And then like now that I've been like doing these adventures and like especially like longer trips where you're out in the backcountry for like extended period of time, I understand like what he was doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you just like.
Yeah, he was just feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like...
You're authentically yourself in nature, and it's amazing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just like, it's okay to be weird.
Yeah, absolutely. And like there's a therapeutic aspect of that too, because, typically you're there with people who understand you because they're that way. Mm-hmm. And, you can stay in the present moment and you don't really worry about a whole lot.
Yeah.
And that's
nice.
And
I think that's where that like goofiness and silliness comes from. And it's it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know all about being goofy. So.
Yeah, you get it.
My first canoe trip was when we did 7 days or 6 days around Kedgie to do the tent dwellers route, me and Lee and Alec and Ashley and Denis. And, we took the van down there and we stayed the first night at this, I don't know what you would call it, outdoors resort. And Ashley Max said to me, have you ever done anything like this before? I said, canoe? She said, yeah. I said, no. She's like, you've never been in a canoe before? I'm like, no, man. She's like, and you're signed up for 6 days in a canoe? But, you know, like, when we got to camp the first night and we all got to, like, unload the boat and sit down and, like, prep our campsite and make some food and whatever, I was like, man, this is, like, super real. You know, like, it's a different kind of thing than hiking that far, because you're always on all day. Like, sometimes
there's always something to do.
Like you're always correcting or you know, like looking at a map or whatever. Like, sometimes with hiking you can shut your brain off for little periods of time and stuff, you know,
just walk.
But when you're canoeing, you can't really do that.
Yeah, it's a different feel. We also like learned, we never really have done too many hike camping trips before. Like, this is really our first experience here on Cape Breton.
Yep.
But we've learned, like, hike camping, pack as little as possible, and you're just going to be like super greasy and whatever.
Yeah.
But canoe camping, like, the first time I went, I was like, what? I can't pack all this stuff. But now I'm like, canoe camping's awesome. I can pack so much more.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. It just like gave a different perspective.
Yeah,
lots
for sure.
of pile in the snacks,
Yeah.
beverages.
Big barrel pack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. So tell us about elephant golf.
Yeah, so it's a company I started just trying to like take a little different look at golf. I think this summer I kind of realized that what I have pictured for it is kind of like adventure based golf, like kind of like communicating that like golf is more of like an adventure to be had than like it is like a, you know, like a walk in the park. Like, it's easy. Like, you get pampered, you get all these nice things, you get dressed up for it. Or like my kind of golf that I like is like tough adventure. Like, there's obstacles and like.
You're more of like you like a natural golf course, more
Like a highland course.
Yeah, instead of like a course that's like you can tell is so man-made and groomed and whatever. Yeah, and just like the style of golf is like embracing like the toughness and like not getting worked up and not throwing a little fit when you have a bad shot. Whereas like, and I realized that like there's actually a lot of parallels with like an adventure. Like, you're dealt these things, like the rain comes or like there's a big mountain in front of you, and like how you overcome that obstacle like determines how much you enjoy your adventure. It's like same thing in golf. You get a bad lie somewhere, or you're in a tough spot. It's like how well you manage yourself getting out of that will determine how good of a time you have out there.
And so that's a really good metaphor for life, number one. But can you explain to us the rules of the tournament you had put on?
Oh, yeah. So
like how you did it.
Yeah, so that's another thing. I hosted like a 3-putt tournament. So I basically took the yard game. We call it ring toss or holy board. So it's like washer toss.
Yep.
Has a lot of different names. Basically, there's 3 holes, 1, 3, 5, and you try and sink. I actually was able to cut them into the green at the White Squirrel in Exeter. They let me cut holes, a whole bunch of holes into the green and make these boards games. Yep. And you putt back and forth, and it's a point cancellation system.
Cool.
So. Yeah, it's the other thing I want to do is I kind of want to do different tournaments. Like, not like I just feel like the scrambles and like the classic, count your, what do you call them? Like just a regular stroke play tournament.
Yeah.
Or just like overdone. Like, I want to do different tournaments. My next one I have in mind is a 3-putt tournament combined with like a camping. So you'd maybe play 18 holes, camp the night, then play another 18 holes, and then have a 3-putt tournament.
Cool.
At the end of it. So,
cool.
And
then your grand total is who? Wins
and
it.
You like have a partner. I find the partners always make it fun.
Yeah.
And and do different things on the course too. Like, not just a regular 18 holes, count all strokes.
Yeah.
Like I want to do like a cross country where you like go from one tee to a green that you wouldn't normally go at.
Oh,
So
cool.
you're gonna have to go through trees, or you're gonna have to go through different things. It's like
Very
there's not
cool.
gonna be a fairway there for you. It's gonna be a slog.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's about that time.
Yeah, well, I just got back, so I don't know what you guys are talking about. I was just checking in some people.
fire.
Bringing this baby back.
We haven't done a rapid fire in a while. Cake or pie?
Cake.
Pie.
Dancing goat or labrie?
Dancing goat.
Dancing goat.
Bushwhack or trail hike?
Bushwhack.
Ooh. Depends on how nice the trail is.
Well, bushwhack, there's no trail.
But like just like a little slight trail, like when we're on lowlands and you can like it's like long grass,
Like a footpath.
and I can just see a little tiny path.
Whoa! Let's get it real. That's not bushwhacking. I'm going to tell you right now.
No, he's saying that's trail, so he might pick trail if that's the trail, right?
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'm a small trail
You're
guy.
a footpath guy.
Yeah, footpath.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Coffee. Lee got me on drank a lot more coffees this summer.
And to cap things off, your favorite place on Cape Breton Island?
Oh my goodness, this has been a debate for a while now. We've been talking about this. I don't know. I think Money Point might have been my favorite. It is between Money Point and Lowland Cove.
Yeah, as far as hike,
but there's different categories. Like
this right here on the picnic table is pretty. The Margaree Valley is pretty cool. We did a lot of paddling on the Margaree River, exploring the southwest, northeast Margaree. It's such a cool area.
Waking up in the morning up in the field there and looking out at the river and watching the humidity and the
I have some amazing pictures from
this morning was beautiful.
Yeah. And one morning I woke up and there's a deer just like standing in the bush. I'm like, that's so cool. No one's up yet. There's fog, like whatever, coming up the mountain. Yeah. It's just so beautiful. Yeah. And we got to live here for 3 months.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Well, I can't thank Lee enough.
The bill's coming soon. Don't worry.
Uh-oh.
Well, we hope we can have you back on Cape Breton Island, but probably also back at Live Life Intense.
For sure.
We hope to come back.
We'll be back.
Anything you want to pitch for upcoming hikes, Lee?
Man, we're just doing the seawall in 2 weeks. Doing 2 seawall trips this month. It's September, by the way. 15th, 29th, and then we have Trash Bash, which is going to be announced soon. I'm probably just going to just announce it and then just figure it all out later.
Yeah.
But that'll be I think it's like the 21st, 20th, whatever weekend it's around there.
Yep.
Food trucks booked. We're going to book. We don't have artists. It's confirmed yet, but concert, weekend, free camping.
Dance party.
Give 4 hours of your time to clean up beach, the river, trail, whatever. And then we coordinate with the county to come pick all the trash up. And hopefully we do, we had 100 people show, or 75, I think 75, 80 people show up. The first one 2 years ago. We skipped it last year, but we're bringing it back. That's it. I don't know.
Well, that's great.
I recommend the dance parties.
Yeah.
Lee and Canary are legit DJs.
Skipper, you got anything to add?
He's just looking.
He's just eating flies.
Yeah, that's what he does.
All right. Well, thanks for coming down and thanks for doing this.
Oh, thank you guys.
It's been awesome. Yeah.
Later.